When most people hear the name Iran, a picture immediately forms in their minds. For many, it is a country they have heard about countless times, yet have almost never truly seen. A place often reduced to headlines, a place imagined through politics rather than landscapes. But geography has never cared about headlines. Long before the first empire rose from these valleys, before caravans crossed its deserts, before cities appeared beneath its mountains, nature had already spent hundreds of millions of years creating one of the most astonishing landscapes on Earth. Iran is not simply one country. It is a meeting place of worlds. Towering mountains gather moisture from the skies, while only a few hundred kilometers away, deserts become so hot that the ground itself seems to shimmer beneath the sun. Ancient forests survive from a forgotten age. Salt caves descend into complete darkness. Rainbow-colored islands rise from the Persian Gulf, and villages seem to grow directly from solid rock. Few countries contain so many completely different worlds within a single border. Yet, remarkably, most people never see them. Today, our journey is not about politics, nor is it about history alone. It is about discovering a country through the landscapes that shaped everything around them, because sometimes the greatest misunderstanding is not what people believe, it is what they have never been shown. Our journey begins where northern Iran suddenly rises toward the clouds, a place where mountains stand between two completely different climates, creating one of the most remarkable natural boundaries in Asia. The Alborz Mountains. Driving north across Iran, something extraordinary begins to happen. The dry plains slowly disappear behind you. The air becomes cooler, the horizon rises. Then, almost without warning, an immense wall of mountains stretches from east to west, separating the vast Iranian plateau from the shimmering waters of the Caspian Sea. These are the Alborz Mountains. For millions of years, they have stood like a giant stone barrier across northern Iran. But they do far more than dominate the skyline. They control the climate itself. Moist air drifting south from the Caspian Sea collides with these towering peaks and rises into cooler skies. Clouds begin to form. Rain follows. On one side of the mountains, dense forests thrive. On the other, the landscape quickly returns to dry valleys and rocky plains. Few mountain ranges transform their surroundings so dramatically. The Alborz remind us that geography quietly shapes everything around it, even the weather, and hidden among those peaks stands a mountain unlike any other, one that has watched civilizations rise and disappear for thousands of years. Mount Damavand. Every country has a mountain that defines its skyline. For Iran, that mountain is Damavand. Rising more than 5,600 meters above sea level, it dominates the surrounding landscape with a snow-covered summit visible from astonishing distances on clear days. At first glance, it appears peaceful, almost motionless. Yet Damavand is a volcano. Its violent past still whispers through steaming vents near the summit, where warm gases continue escaping from deep beneath the mountain. It is a reminder that this landscape remains wonderfully alive. Throughout history, Damavand has inspired countless Persian legends. But even without mythology, the mountain hardly needs a story. It tells one through its presence alone. Standing beneath its slopes, it becomes easy to understand why generations regarded it with such respect. It is not merely the highest mountain in Iran. It is the silent guardian of the entire northern plateau. Yet while Damavand reaches toward the sky, another landscape quietly spreads beneath its northern slopes, one that seems almost impossible to exist in the Middle East. The Hyrcanian forests. Few travelers expect to find an ancient rainforest in Iran, yet just beyond the Alborz mountains, the landscape transforms once again. The dry plateau disappears. Towering trees take its place. Welcome to the Hyrcanian forests. These remarkable woodlands stretch for hundreds of kilometers along the southern coast of the Caspian Sea, preserving an ecosystem that has survived since the age when much of Europe was still covered by similar forests. Some scientists call them living museums. Many of the tree species growing here have remained almost unchanged for millions of years. Walking beneath their dense canopy feels surprisingly timeless. Morning mist drifts silently through ancient beech and oak forests. Mountain streams weave between moss-covered rocks. Sunlight filters gently through layers of leaves before disappearing into a world of deep green. It feels less like the Middle East and more like stepping into another climate entirely. The Hyrcanian forests exist because the Alborz mountains quietly protect them. They trap the moisture carried inland from the Caspian Sea, creating conditions that have allowed this extraordinary ecosystem to survive while many similar forests vanished elsewhere. Nature rarely works alone. Every landscape quietly depends upon another. But perhaps the greatest surprise is still waiting, because beyond these ancient forests, the green world suddenly comes to an end. The rivers disappear, the trees fade into the distance, and one of Earth's hottest landscapes begins, a place where wind became an artist and the desert became its masterpiece. Our journey now turns toward the heart of Iran, where the Lut Desert quietly rewrites everything we thought we knew about desert. The Earth has a remarkable way of changing without warning. One moment, towering forests surround you. Birdsong echoes through ancient valleys. Cool mountain air drifts between the trees. Then, almost without noticing, the last patch of green disappears behind the horizon. The rivers vanish, the air grows warmer, the ground becomes lighter. Suddenly, you are standing at the edge of one of the most extraordinary deserts on Earth. Not empty, not lifeless, but beautifully alive in its own unexpected way. The Lut Desert. At first glance, the Lut Desert appears almost impossible. Its vast plains stretch toward distant mountains without a single tree interrupting the view. Heat shimmers above the ground, bending the horizon until the desert seems to merge with the sky itself. Yet this is no ordinary desert. Satellite observations have shown that parts of the Lut Desert have recorded some of the highest natural land surface temperatures ever measured on Earth. The summer sun transforms dark volcanic rocks into enormous natural heat collectors, creating a landscape unlike almost anywhere else on the planet. But temperature alone isn't what makes the Lut extraordinary. It is what the wind has quietly created. the Kaluts far into the heart of the Lut Desert. The ground suddenly begins to change. Mountains appear, except they are not mountains at all. Standing in endless rows are enormous stone ridges sculpted entirely by wind. These are the famous Kaluts. Over thousands of years, powerful desert winds carried tiny grains of sand across ancient sediments, slowly carving gigantic corridors, sharp towers, and narrow passageways. No human designed them, no machine shaped them, only air, patiently moving across the desert, one grain at a time. At sunrise, their shadows stretch for hundreds of meters across the sand. By sunset, their golden walls seem almost to glow beneath the evening light. Walking among them feels strangely familiar. Not because they resemble another place on Earth, but because they resemble landscapes imagined on distant planets. It is no surprise that filmmakers and explorers often compare the Lut Desert to Mars. Nature quietly arrived there first. Yet the desert still has another surprise waiting beneath its surface. The salt worlds of central Iran. Not every river reaches the sea. Some simply disappear. Across central Iran, seasonal rivers slowly lose themselves beneath the desert sun, leaving behind vast salt flats that sparkle brilliantly beneath the daylight. From above, they resemble frozen lakes, yet every dazzling white surface tells the same story. Water arrived. The sun remained. The salt stayed behind. Over countless seasons, these minerals accumulated into remarkable landscapes where geometric patterns spread naturally across the ground, changing with every rainfall and every dry season. Elsewhere, salt pushed upward through the Earth's crust, creating towering domes that slowly rose above the surrounding plains. Some even developed enormous caves lined with glittering white crystals. Walking through them feels almost surreal. Light reflects from every surface, while ancient salt walls quietly record millions of years of geological history. Few people associate Iran with underground crystal worlds, yet they have existed here all along, hidden beneath one of the driest landscapes in Asia. Nature rarely reveals all its masterpieces at once. The Zagros Mountains. As the desert slowly fades behind us, another wall of mountains rises across the western horizon. These are the Zagros Mountains. Stretching for more than 1,500 kilometers, they form one of the longest mountain systems in the Middle East. Unlike the sharp volcanic peaks of Damavand, the Zagros feel softer. Their ridges roll endlessly into the distance, creating a landscape of deep valleys, limestone cliffs, and winding rivers that have supported life for thousands of years. These mountains were born through collision. The Arabian Plate continues pressing slowly against Eurasia, gently lifting the landscape year after year. The movement is almost impossible to notice, yet over millions of years, it created an entire mountain world. Spring transforms these valleys into fields of wildflowers. Snow crowns the highest ridges during winter. Hidden caves and dramatic gorges appear where rivers patiently carve their way through ancient limestone. It is another reminder that Iran is never just one landscape. Every few hundred kilometers, the Earth begins telling a completely different story. And perhaps nowhere is that more obvious than along the Persian Gulf. Because there, the mountains suddenly end, the sea returns, and the land begins changing color. Red, yellow, orange, purple. Our next destination is one of the most extraordinary islands on Earth, where the ground itself looks as though it has been painted. Welcome to Hormuz Island. The farther south our journey travels, the more surprising Iran becomes. The towering mountains slowly fade into the distance. The dry plateau suddenly gives way to warm coastal air. The scent of salt replaces the scent of dust. Ahead lies the Persian Gulf, a sea that has connected Africa, Asia, and Europe for thousands of years. Beneath its calm waters, the Earth has been quietly experimenting with color, minerals, tides, and erosion, creating islands unlike almost anywhere else on the planet. Our first stop looks as though an artist painted the landscape by hand. Hormuz Island, the Rainbow Island. From above, Hormuz hardly looks real. The beaches are not simply golden. Some glow deep crimson, others shimmer with silver, orange, or shades of purple. The surrounding hills seem painted in dozens of different colors, changing with every movement of the sun. It almost feels as though nature forgot to choose a single pellet. The secret lies beneath your feet. Millions of years ago, immense geological forces slowly pushed mineral-rich rocks toward the surface. Iron oxides, volcanic materials, and layers of ancient sediments blended together, creating one of the most colorful landscapes on Earth. Every hill reveals another shade. Every valley introduces another texture. Even the beaches seem to change personality from one bay to the next. Standing here, it becomes difficult to believe that all of these colors were created naturally. Hormuz reminds us that geology is more than science. Sometimes it becomes art. Yet while Hormuz amazes through color, its neighboring island astonishes through scale. Qeshm Island, nature's giant sculpture. Stretching more than 130 kilometers, Qeshm Island is the largest island in the Persian Gulf. But its greatest wonder cannot be appreciated from a map. It must be explored. Across the island, wind and water have patiently carved towering sandstone cliffs into extraordinary shapes. Hidden canyons twist between smooth rock walls. Narrow passageways suddenly open into enormous chambers filled with sunlight. Some formations resemble castles. Others resemble giant stone animals frozen in time. Among the most remarkable is the Valley of the Stars. Local legends say the landscape was created when a star crashed into the earth. Geologists tell a different story. Over countless centuries, seasonal rain, coastal winds, and erosion slowly sculpted soft sedimentary rocks into towering pillars and delicate ridges. The result feels almost otherworldly. Walking through the valley at sunset, when long shadows stretch across the stone, it becomes easy to understand why so many stories were born here. Sometimes, nature creates landscapes that legends simply cannot resist. Yet Qeshm's greatest surprise waits where the land meets the sea. The Hara mangrove forests. twice each day, the ocean performs a remarkable trick. As the tide rises, thousands of trees slowly disappear beneath the water. Hours later, they return. These are the Hara mangrove forests, one of the few places in the Middle East where saltwater forests thrive. Their tangled roots filter seawater while creating safe nurseries for fish, crabs, and countless birds that depend upon these sheltered waters. From above, the forest appears almost to float across the Persian Gulf. From within, narrow waterways weave silently between emerald canopies, reflecting perfectly upon the calm water. Everything moves gently. Even time seems slower here. It is difficult to imagine that only a short distance away lies one of the hottest deserts on Earth. Iran constantly surprises by placing completely different worlds beside one another, and nowhere is that contrast more beautiful than our next destination. Badab-e Surt. High in the mountains of northern Iran, water has been quietly creating one of the country's most extraordinary natural masterpieces. Drop by drop, year after year, century after century. The result is Badab-e Surt, a series of brilliant orange, gold, and white terraces cascading down the mountainside like giant natural staircases. The pools were not carved by rivers. They were built by mineral-rich spring water. As the water slowly flowed downhill, it left behind thin layers of calcium carbonate, gradually forming hundreds of delicate terraces that continue growing even today. Each pool reflects the sky differently. Some appear deep blue, others glow amber beneath the evening sun. No two seasons look exactly alike. Nature is still painting the landscape, patiently, quietly, one layer at a time. It is one of those places that reminds us that beauty does not always arrive suddenly. Sometimes, it grows so slowly that only generations can witness the change. Yet perhaps the most remarkable story of all is not about mountains, or deserts, or islands. It is about people. For thousands of years, communities learned to survive one of the world's most demanding landscapes, not by fighting nature, but by understanding it. Our final journey reveals that remarkable relationship. Ancient underground rivers, cities cooled without electricity, villages carved directly into rock, and gardens that turned the desert into paradise. Only then does the true story of Iran finally come into focus. Every landscape we have crossed tells the same quiet story. The mountains shaped the forests gave way to deserts. The deserts met the sea. The sea revealed islands painted with minerals gathered over millions of years. Yazd. The desert city that learned to catch the wind. In the heart of central Iran, where summer temperatures regularly climb beneath an unforgiving sun, stands one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited desert cities. At first glance, Yazd seems impossible. Its narrow streets weave between earth-colored buildings that appear almost identical to the surrounding desert. Yet above every neighborhood rise elegant towers reaching toward the sky. These are wind catchers, known locally as badgears, long before electricity, long before air conditioning. They quietly cooled homes using nothing more than moving air. Even the city's streets tell a story. Many are deliberately narrow, creating shade for much of the day while protecting people from the desert heat. Everything here works with nature, never against it. Yazd reminds us that true innovation often begins by observing the landscape itself. The ancient Kaluts. But perhaps Iran's greatest engineering achievement is almost invisible. Hidden beneath the ground lies an extraordinary network of underground tunnels known as Kaluts. More than 2,000 years ago, Persian engineers discovered that by gently tunneling beneath the desert, they could carry mountain groundwater across astonishing distances without losing it to evaporation. Some Kaluts extend for tens of kilometers. Gravity alone keeps the water flowing. No pumps, no engines, no modern technology, only remarkable understanding of geology and patience. Entire cities survived because of these hidden rivers. Even today, many continue delivering fresh water exactly as they did centuries ago. Sometimes, the most extraordinary wonders are the ones we never see. Kandovan. A village carved by nature. High among the mountains of northwestern Iran, another surprise quietly waits. From a distance, the hillside appears filled with giant stone cones. Then windows begin appearing, doors, balconies, smoke rising gently into the cool mountain air. This is Kandovan, one of the world's few villages still inhabited inside naturally formed volcanic rock. These cone-shaped formations were created when volcanic ash hardened before thousands of years of wind and rain slowly sculpted them into towering natural pillars. People later transformed them into homes. The thick volcanic walls naturally remain cool during summer and warm throughout winter, proving once again that the landscape itself often provides the best solutions. Nature built the architecture. People simply moved inside. Persian gardens. Bringing paradise to the desert. Few ideas have traveled farther than the Persian garden, yet its inspiration began with geography. In a land where water was precious, creating a green sanctuary became far more than decoration. It became hope. Flowing channels reflected the sky. Trees created welcome shade. Flowers softened the surrounding desert. Every garden represented harmony between nature and human imagination. The word paradise itself traces its origins to an ancient Persian expression describing an enclosed garden. Perhaps that is fitting, because after traveling across Iran's deserts, mountains and forests, these peaceful spaces feel exactly as they were intended, like small pieces of nature carefully protected against the harshness beyond their walls. A country beyond expectations by now. The Iran we imagined at the beginning of this journey feels very far away. The country revealed itself not through headlines, but through landscapes, through volcanoes watching over snow-covered mountains, ancient forests surviving from another age, deserts sculpted entirely by wind, rainbow-colored islands, salt caves, mangrove forests, stone villages, underground rivers. Each place quietly challenged the same assumption, that one country could never contain so many different worlds. Yet Iran does. Perhaps that is why geography remains such a powerful storyteller. It asks us to look beyond first impressions. Beyond familiar narratives, beyond what we think we already know. Because every landscape carries a story waiting patiently to be discovered. The greatest journeys are rarely measured by distance. They are measured by perspective. Today we crossed frozen mountains, timeless forests, endless deserts, colorful islands, hidden valleys, and remarkable cities without ever leaving one country. And somewhere along the way, Iran became something very different. Not a place defined by misunderstanding, but a land shaped by extraordinary geography, remarkable resilience, and countless natural masterpieces that have quietly existed for millions of years. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson this journey leaves behind. The world is still full of places we think we know, until we truly see them. Thank you for exploring with Trevora Wonders. If you enjoyed discovering a side of Iran that few documentaries ever reveal, join us for the next expedition, because beyond every familiar map, another extraordinary story is waiting to be told. Until then, keep wondering, because the most unforgettable places are often the ones the world forgets to show us.